Patti Smith is one of the most influential musicians of all time. She's also known for winning a National Book Award for her 2010 memoir, Just Kids. And now, the woman known as the Poet Laureate of Punk is being recognized for her photography as well. And Patti Smith joins us now. She's out with a new book today featuring some of her favorite photos when she's taken. It's titled A Book of Days. Patti, good morning. It's so great to see you.
Good morning. Great to be here.
You flinched when I said you're one of the most influential musicians of all time. You covered your mouth.
Well, I don't really think, I mean, I'm happy to be, you know, of some influence or hopefully inspire people, but I couldn't accept that accolade, but thank you for it.
I'm going to keep saying it, even if it embarrasses you.
Okay.
Let's talk about this book, A Book of Days. Inspired a little bit, you jumped on Instagram a few years ago and you're posting photographs that you've taken. But the range of photos in here, from you as a young child to photos that were taken just a couple of months ago, what was the inspiration for this book?
Well, I was during the pandemic, and I wanted to be productive, and I wanted to be able to still connect with people. And Instagram was very good during isolation because I was able to share books, share ideas, whether about politics, climate change, culture, and get feedback from the people. And so I thought that I would take it a step further and make a book with some of these images, a lot of new images, but across the board. So it could be about science, art, motherhood, but something positive for the people, because we are in need of positivity right now, I think.
As you're speaking, Patti, we're looking at a collection of the photographs from the book. I mean, this, as I said,
my daughter.
There's your daughter. This spans your entire life, really. So how did you curate this down to 365 days?
Well, some because it's every day of the year. Some are obviously people's birthday. It could be Samuel Beckett or Martin Luther King's birthday, and some really just by season and how pictures inform each other. Because Instagram, it's one image, but I suddenly realized working on this book, I'm working with two images at a time, and they have to connect. So I just wanted it to be friendly to all kinds of people. If you're into science or math or poetry or thinking about your life or the departed, to give everyone a little message, because every day is somebody's birthday. So I wanted every picture and every caption to be thinking of that person on their birthday.
Joe and Mika are here with questions for you, and I should warn you, Joe probably agrees with me that you're one of the most influential artists of all time. Just fair warning.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
Thank you.
I love the humility. I'm just, you know, Patti, it's fascinating that you take something like the pandemic that's so isolating, and yet artists such as yourself actually used that to create projects. I know Paul McCartney did his lyrics book and everything stopped, so he just sat there and did something that probably could have never done if things were moving quickly. You did the same thing, and you talked about how you needed to isolate more because of the condition that you had. Talk about, though, how it influenced this book and how you can even look at the pictures and connected to the pandemic, know which pictures are connected there.
Well, I have a congenital bronchial condition, so I had to be very, very extra prudent during lockdown. So in that isolation, I wanted to make a book that was diverse and had many interesting images, but I wanted things that were of the moment. So you almost can tell what pictures I took during the pandemic, because they all have my bookcase. They have my bookcase, my cat, my very small world during the pandemic. But I wanted it to be expansive in terms of imagination and you know, and just reaching out to people, giving people things they could relate to and to feel positive about.
Do you have a picture or two that stands out as something that you're especially connected to emotionally?
Well, funny enough, one of those pictures is, I think in early January, is a photograph of myself, and I'm sitting in my room, and a friend of mine who took the cover picture, Stephen Sebring, shot a picture of me while I was deep in thought. I was actually had a lot on my mind. And he showed me the picture, and when I saw it, I realized that I had seen my mother in that same state with that same look on her face. And when I was a child, I would say, "What is it, Mommy? What is it?" And she would say, "Oh, nothing, nothing." And I looked at that picture and I thought, that's what nothing is. And what I was seeing was my mother with so much on her mind. But she said, "Oh, nothing." And I thought, I have discovered what nothing is. So
yeah.
But there's
so where do you get... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
All right. I'm curious, you talk a lot about the pandemic and the loneliness that people felt and wanting to do something in this book especially. Where do you get your artistic inspiration these days?
Well, I get it everywhere. I mean, I'm very, I don't have a lot of skills, but God blessed me with a very good imagination and a lot of enthusiasm. So I really am inspired all the time. I mean, in this book, I mean, a ragged, garden inspired me. My books inspire me. Looking at my kids inspire me. I'm easily inspired, and I try to. Also, I have a strong work ethic, and I think it's very important to transform that inspiration into work.
Joe, as you ask your next question, this is the photograph Patty was talking about just a second ago, right over here, guys, where she said she looked like her mother sitting that way.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Wonderful.
Patty, speaking of influential artists, we had Michael Stipe on about a year ago. He had a book of photography, just beautiful, beautiful work. I'm curious for you as an artist. You certainly you can express yourself so well in songwriting, in music. I'm curious. What about in photography? How do the two compare for you as far as how you express yourself as an artist? What you get out of each art form?
Well, I mean, I've taken photographs for years, but not as a vocation. But my husband passed away in 1994. I was only in my 40s. I had 2 small children. And I found it very difficult to do anything. I couldn't write. I couldn't really think. But I had a need to express myself creatively. And we had an old Polaroid camera there. And I just took a picture that I liked. It was of Nureev's ballet slippers that I owned. And the atmosphere of the picture was very nice, and I felt satisfied. They're actually Margot Fontaine's picture as slippers, but I took hers as well. But the real point of it is the immediacy of taking a Polaroid and seeing that it was good gave me the feeling that I had done something of worth. And since then, I just really got hooked. And photography is important to me. I'm a very visual person, but writing is my most important vocation. But even when I'm writing, I'm seeing pictures. So photography is just another way for me to express my inner world physically, to share with other people.
It's a beautiful book. It's a new collection of photographs called A Book of Days. It's available now. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Patti Smith, thanks so much for being here. It's great to see you. You're blushing again. You don't even like to be called a Hall of Famer.
No,
that's just true.
I'll accept that.
Great to see you.
And happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you, Patty. Nice to see you. Congratulations on the book.
That does it for us this morning.
Wonderful.
Jose.